So what personality can be defined as? Personality can be defined as those inner psychological characters that determine and reflect how a person thinks and act in an environment. So yesterday we did attitude, like how our actions tell others that what type of attitude we carry within us. Similarly, personality, that's an inner psychological characteristics of the people that determine and reflect that how I think and how I act into an environment. So the inner characteristics of personality, they can be your quality, your attributes, your traits, your characteristics, your factors, your manners, your behavior that distinguish one person from another. So personalities are likely to influence the individual's product and store choices. They are also affect the way consumer responds to a firm's communication efforts. So it's a pattern of stable states and characteristics of a person that influences his or her behavior towards a certain goal achievement. So everyone, every person, he is unique in the ways of protecting these states. Because how? Because every person's needs, his demand, his desire, his behavior, everything is different. Everything is unique. So personality, that's a fundamental and foremost determinant of an individual behavior. It seeks to integrate the psychological and physiological facets of an individual to put them into an action. So personality consists of an individual characteristics and distinct way of behavior. So the most meaningful approach would be to include both the person and the role, as said by Claude Elrach, who said in his definition that human personality, it includes two types of things. One is the internal awareness and another one is the external appearance and behavior, or the social stimulus. And if I talk about an internal awareness of self as a permanent organization force. So the particular pattern or organization of measurable traits, both inner and outer, that consist of in a human personality. So the word personality, from where this word came. So the word personality, that came up from a Greek word which is called persona, that means speak through. So it is a combination of characteristics or qualities that forms a person's unique identity. It signifies the role which a person plays in the public. Every individual has a unique, personal, and major determinant of his behavior that defines his or her personality. So there is no common definition of personality which is has so far. So every individual defines personality in a different way, which includes the characteristics and the physical appearance, which means the inner awareness and the external appearance. So according to Fred Litton's, personality is how people affect others and how they understand and view themselves, as well as their pattern of inner and outer measurable traits and the person situation interaction. So what personality is in the organization behavior? So personality in a way of an individual, it plays an extremely important role in assessing the behavior of a person in an organization. In case an individual who is holding a senior position in an organization has a wrong type of personality, it may lead to a very bad impact on the relationship, and ultimately it may lead to the protest and unrest at a workplace. For example, being a manager, I'm very rigid with my employees, or I have some kind of favoritism in me. The people whom I like, who are my favorite, I am giving appreciations to them only, although they are not working. And people who are working very well, I am not giving any kind of attraction to them. I'm not giving any kind of appreciations to them. So I carry a very bad personality in me. So automatically that bad impact will be on the relationship between my workers, and ultimately that will lead to the protest, the strike, conflicts, and unrest at my workplace. So sometimes the personality difficulties are the root cause of labor strikes. No matter how good the superior is in his technical knowledge and other behavioral characteristic. It is the temperament. It is the behavior of the superior that is crucial in ensuring a cordial interaction with the subordinates. So many businesses have realized the importance of leadership in an organization in shaping the personality of employees. So that's why personality, it carries a very important role in individual as well as organizational level. So next comes the determinants of personality. What are the determinants? What the factors that affect the personality? So first of all, that are the biological factors. So biological factors are those factors which are related to a person's identity. Like some of the factors which come from our heredity, some are which comes in within our brain, that what we think by seeing something. So the study of biological contributions to personality, it may be studied under three heads, that is heredity, brain, biofeedback, and physical features. So talking about heredity, heredity refers to those factors that were determined at the conception, like your physical stature, the facial attractiveness, your gender, your temperament, your behavior, muscle composition, reflexes, energy level, and biological rhythms are the characteristics that are considered to be inherent from one's parents. So the heredity approach argues that the ultimate explanation of an individual's personality is the molecular structure of genes located in the chromosome. So sometimes we see that people say that you look like your father, your facial appearance that is like your mother, your eyes that are like your brother. So the way you do your work, the activeness in you, that is being inherited from your family. So these are the factors first which comes under the biological factors which are heredited from your parents. Second one is the brain. The second biological approach is to concentrate on the role that brain plays an important role in personality. The psychologists are unable to prove empirically that the contribution of human brain in influencing personality. So preliminary results from electrical stimulation of brain research gives an indication that a better understanding of human personality and behavior might come from the study of brain. Like for example, whenever see an attractive cloth, we see that we act accordingly, that that dress, that's very beautiful dress, and that stimulation, that indication is coming from your brain. You will see that definitely that dress is good, that will suit me, that will be adding a more extra positive point to my attitude. So next comes the biofeedback. So until recently, psychologists and physiologists felt that certain biological functions such as brainwave pattern, gastric and hormonal secretions, fluctuations in blood pressure and skin temperature were beyond conscious control. Now, some scientists believe that these involuntary functions can be consciously controlled through biofeedback techniques. So, in BFT, the individual learns the internal rhythms of a particular body process through electronic signals that are feedback from equipment that is wired to the body. That sometimes your personality, that it comes from the favorable to a very unfavorable point. How? Because of your any illness, because of your mental illness. So physical features, so a vital ingredient of personality, and individual's external appearance is biologically determined. So the fact that a person is tall or short, fat or skinny, black or white will influence the person's effect on others, and this in turn will affect the self-concept. So these are the factors which comes under the biological factors. The next comes the cultural factor. The word culture, like the family, the friends, the peer groups, the social groups. So that factors which are being affected, that by your peer group, family, friends in the culture, that are called the cultural factors. So among the factors that influence personality formation is the culture in which we are raised, early conditioning, norms prevailing with the family, friends, and social groups, and other miscellaneous experiences that impact us. So the culture largely determines attitude towards independence, aggression, competition, cooperation, and a host of other human responses. So according to Paul Asmussen, each culture expects and trains its members to behave in a way that are acceptable to the group. To a marked degree, the child's cultural group defines the range of experiences and situations he is likely to encounter, and values and personality character that will be reinforced and hence learned. So in whatever culture we are living and how we are born and brought up, how we are raised, that automatically affects our personality. Then the family factor. So whereas the culture factors that generally prescribes and limits that what a person is being taught, it is the family and later the social group which selects, interprets, and dispenses the culture. Hence the family probably has the most significant impact on early personality development. So a substantial amount of empirical evidence indicates that overall home environment created by the parents, in addition to their direct influence, it is critical to personality development. The parents play an especially important part in the identification process, which is important to person's early development. So although the difference between the cultural and family factor is that being a child, we are told that whenever you see an elder person, you have to do the foot wish. So that is the culture factor that our parent is teaching us. They taught us that whenever that we should give respect to elders, and family factors like our family, our mother, our father, they do a foot wish or they do a wish by folding their hands to their elders. That's a sort of respect, that's a sign of respect, and children see this as an evidence and they do same as they see their parents are doing. So cultural factors are those factors that we learn, that how we are raised from, and family factors, that is another point to a cultural factor, adding another point to a cultural factor, the growth, the learning to an personality development. So according to Michelle, the process can be examined from different perspectives. Identification can be viewed as the similarity of behavior, including feelings and attitudes between the child and the model. Then identification can be looked at the child motive or desire to be looked like the model, and it can be viewed as the process through which child actually takes an attributes of the model. So from all these perspectives, the identification process, that's a fundamental to understanding of personality development. The home environment also influences the personality of an individual. Most importantly, siblings, our brothers, sisters, we learn from them, or we help our younger brothers to learn from us. So siblings, they play a very important contribution in personality in the family factor. So next are the social factors. So there is an increasing recognition given to the role of other relevant people, groups, and especially the organizations, which greatly influence an individual's personality, which is called a socialization process. So socialization involves a process by which person acquires from enormously wide range of behavioral potentialities that are open to him or her, those that are ultimately synthesized and absorbed. Socialization starts with initial contact between the mother and the new infant. Whenever a new baby is born, the first contact is between the mother and that infant. So after infancy, other members of the family, they immediate come to the contact, that is the father, the siblings, the close relatives, then the social group, the peer group, the school friends, and after the school and college friends, the members where they work, who play an influential role in the personality changes. So socialization process is especially relevant to OB because the process is not just confined to early childhood, taking place and rather throughout one's life. So in particular, the evidence is accumulating the socialization may be one of the best explanations for why employees behave the way they do in today's organization. Then the situational factor. According to the situation, our personality changes. So human personality is also influenced by situation factors. The effect of the environment is quite strong. Knowledge, skill, and language are obviously acquired and represent most important modifications of behavior. An individual's personality, while generally stable and consistent, does change in different situations. The varying demands of different situations call for different aspects of one's personality. So, according to Milgram, situation exerts an important press on an individual. It exercises constraints and may provide a push. In certain circumstances, it is not so much the kind of a person, a man, as the kind of situation in which he is placed that determines his action. We should not, therefore, look at the personality patterns in the isolation. So these are the factors, determinants which affect the personality of an individual in an organization behavior. First, the biological factors in which heredity, brain and biofeedback comes. Then the cultural factors which depends upon the culture where are raised up. Family, that another step to our personality development. We see the evidence and accordingly our personality changes. Social factors, socialization, that it personality changes till the last, like the way we behave in the childhood is the different we behave when we work in an organization. And the situational factors, which is those factors which are influenced by circumstances, by the situations. So these were the factors that affect organization behavior. So next comes personality characteristics. So managers should learn as much as possible about personality in order to understand their employees. So there are hundreds of personality characteristics, but the 7 personality characteristics that influence individuals, they are categorized as locus of control. So to the degree to which individual perceives control over a situation, being internal or external, that is called the locus of control. So locus of control refers to the range of beliefs that individual holds in terms of being controlled by the self, which is called an internal locus, and that which is being controlled by the others or the situation, that is called an external locus. So this is one of the characteristics that comes under the personality. So giving you an example of locus of control, when you want to change your job, and if you leave it up to a fate that to get a call for an interview, you believe it is as an external locus of control. But if you trust your ability and take an initiative to apply for other jobs, you have a strong internal locus of control. Fine. Next is the self-efficacy. So generalized self-efficacy refers to a belief about one's own ability to deal with events and challenges. High self-efficacy results in greater confidence in one's job-related abilities to function effectively on the high job. Success in previous situation leads to increased high efficacy for present and future challenges. For example, a man who is struggling to manage his chronic illness but feels confidence that he can get back on the track and improve his health by working hard and following the doctor's recommendation. That is an example of high self-efficacy, or you can say a student who feels confident that she'll be able to learn the information and do well on the test. That is the self-efficacy. Next, self-esteem. So, self-esteem and individual's self-worth, which is referred to as in self-esteem. Individuals with high self-esteem have positive feelings about themselves, and lowest self-esteem individuals are strongly affected by what others think of them and view themselves negatively. For example, you likely have a high self-esteem if you act assertively without experiencing any guilt and feel at the ease of communicating with others and avoiding the past and focus on the present moment. So believe you are equal to everyone else, no one better and no one is worse. So, another example, you can say whatever kind of biological factor you are carrying, you are tall, you are short, you are fat, you are thin, you should have positive feeling about yourself. That is the self-esteem, that whatever look I am carrying, I am the best. So that is the self-esteem. So that will automatically create a positive personality in you. Next is self-monitoring. So self-monitoring is the extent to which people base their behavior on cues from other people and situations is self-monitoring. Individuals having high self-monitoring pay attention to what behavior is appropriate in certain situations. Individuals having low self-monitoring, they prefer that their behavior reflects their attitude and are not flexible in adapting their behavior to situational cues. So some of the signs of self-monitoring that includes that putting on a show to entertain others, or saying something in a very confident way in the social gatherings to attract the attention or approval from others. Next comes the positive and the negative effect. So individuals that exhibit attitudes about the situation in the positive or negative feeling. Whenever I see a situation, if I'm giving a very positive effect to that, that will be much better if I give the negative effect to that. So in individuals' tendency to accentuate the positive aspects of situation is referred to positive effect, while those accentuating less optimistic views are referred to as negative effect. So employees with positive effect, they are less absent from their job, whereas people with the negative effect, they report higher level of job stress and risk taking. Another characteristic of personality, that is risk taking. So we should have willingness to take the chances. We should have that confidence to take chances. So high risk taking managers, they made more rapid decisions and used less information in making their choices than the low risk taking managers. And last, that is the type A and type B personality. Type A personality individually, they are aggressively involved in chronic struggle to achieve more and more in less and less time, and if required to do so against opposing efforts of others or other people. Type B personality are rarely harried by the desire to obtain a wildly increasing number of things or participate in an endless growing series of events in ever decreasing amount of time. So this is the type A and type B personality. If I talk about type A kind of people, They are very competitive, they are very ambitious, they are impatient, they are aggressive, they are fast talking, they are extrovert. And if I talk about type B behavioral people, they are relaxed, they are non-competitive, very introvert, shy. So these are the characteristics of personality. Here is the short video for you regarding how to be successful and why personality development is important.
Hi. Huh? What? I'm Dr. Zoidberg. Oh, I'm Dr. Zoidberg. Huh? No! There you go.
It's smarter to travel in groups. Take the bus, the left.
So that's why it says that if you want to be successful in the organization, you should carry a very positive personality in you. Like you have to be working in team, because whenever we are working in team, that is be adding more positive qualities in us. So that's why first, the role of personality in organization is very important, whether you are a manager or whether you are a subordinate, or to have a cordial relationship between the superior and subordinate, personality plays a very important role. So these were the determinants and characteristics of personality. So we'll be ending up with the determinants and characteristics of personality.